There's your Red Avidity team. I mean, they went up against Nightmare in their first game. So that's obviously, you know, not a great start. We obviously are familiar with some of these players, right? Wub, of course, is a name you might know going back a fair bit as well as Bun. They are featured quite a lot through, you know, tournaments of this sort of caliber in the past. They go up, you know, I think they go up against an opponent that definitely, you know, threatens to put some pressure on them, but one game is not enough for us to tell what Rad Avidity are capable of. O3Splash had a barn burner against Ramatra Punch, in which, you know, Ramatra Punch ended up just beating them out on Suravasa. It was like a 5 flashpoint game. So expecting good things from this squad, expecting them to, yeah, be really vying to avoid elimination here.
Yeah, and I think this is a really close match between these two teams in terms of like the, you know, skill between the two, where I'm looking at, you know, hey, if O3Splash can get that rematch against Ramatra Punch, that would be a really insane series where, you know, viewers, I actually thought the viewers would be going for, you know, Avidity, but O3Splash coming through with the fan favorites here.
Yeah. I have to say, O3Splash logo is pretty cool.
Do you like
What's
that?
cool about it?
It's like a watermark with eyes.
Yeah, it's a drop of water with eyes. Yeah. I guess, I suppose it's supposed. My problem is that like O3 is ozone. Like was O2 blast. I think that was kind of like what this is. You know, like.
Oh, is it
right?
really?
Yeah, but like.
Danny, stop that right now. There's no way you didn't put those two together.
Yeah, my issue was like, what's O3? You know what I mean? Ozone. Okay, that's cool. We could use some more of that, especially down in Australia. I'm not really sure. This is also this team.
O3 is better than O2. You know,
is it
has
though?
one more number.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would rather breathe oxygen than ozone, Danny. Personally, that for me just hits a little different.
Well, Danny thinks that drops are better than oxygen, so maybe he's really not. He's not too high on oxygen, I think.
Maybe Danny
just hold your breath. Just hold your breath. You know, who needs oxygen? All right, enough yapping, guys. The match is ready. So, Mitch and Matt, take it away.
Thank you. Let's get into this one here. O3Splash, a team that's been around for a while with a lot of different looking rosters. I think even Crimzo was on this squad at one point here. So often shuffles up a fair bit from stage to stage. A veritable revolving door of individuals, including Infected, Pummy, Boat was also on this team.
I mean, there's been a long list of players that have played for O3Splash, right? Throughout org's kind of like entirety. I know in Overwatch Esports, where coming in today, man, this match is going to be really close. I feel like, because I was going to say, I was like, oh, I would have liked, you know, Avidity, but then how good that O3Splash looked against Ramatra Punch. Like, you know, Ramatra Punch looked pretty decent. I believe it was their game against Nightmares. Like, maybe kind of look at that and it transfers over, but I don't really know. This one feels like it's going to be tough to pick.
Yeah, I also think, like I said, because we just saw Rad Avidity go up against that Nightmare team and weren't able to show us too much here. Maybe, you know, we've seen O3Splash already play a pretty close game. This group actually, you know, from second through fourth might end up being really tight. So still on the table for both of these teams. Win here gets them into the Group C decider match. So they still have a shot at making the main event. But before we get there, we're off to Lijiang Tower first. It's time for Garden. And it will, of course, be a Kiriko combined here. With the Juno for O3Splash, they've got the Pharah in the mix as well.
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot of Orisa, right, in terms of the tank, and then Juno seems to be a mainstay. It's like, what do you want to kind of combo that Juno with? For O3Splash, it's the Kiri, because you also have that Pharah in the mix. It'll be a first kill here you know, for Avidity. They're going to back up O3Splash after taking down Romani, and then for Avidity, it seems like maybe you kind of even have an idea that this is going to come out on the other side, right? Because Wub is playing the Cassidy, and you've got the Brig there to help protect.
Wub on the Cassidy now has pretty comfortable sightlines to work with, whereas Elva really has to skirt around the edge of the map. You see them there at the top of your screen. Going to be using that central pavilion to block some line of sight if possible. Sugureru, that's a fun one. In onto the point already, starting to put some pressure down, and Bun is trying to stave them off, but there's a couple rockets coming in through those windows as well. Good deflex here to keep the Tracer honest. Romani's come back off spawn now as well to fight for that neutral space.
Yeah, Bun's done a tremendous job just kind of keeping the point contested, right? 2 players here for O3Splash, and just using your Genji here for Avidity to kind of keep it going. That's really good for them, as it's going to be the orbital array here first for Avidity.
Now, we're going to be saying that a lot today, folks, so strap yourselves in. It's going to be Wub actually ends up, finds Sugureru there with the Mount Grenade of all things there, so they get caught. Well, of course, was amped. So the Cassidy hitting extremely hard, and you know, a hero that definitely can benefit from playing within close proximity, not only to the brig, but also that orbital ray.
Yeah, for Avidity, right, when this big support ultimate comes through from O3Splash, I mean, you do have the rally to be able to fight inside of it, as we got a little bit of a pause, and then you also have the Terror Surge as well, right? So if they try and, like, you know, push on in, you have the opportunity. I was like, what is Mitch doing there? It's like a little thumbs up, but...
Thumbs up for an early pause. Complaining and explaining to us why he died on our 47th run of Mythic Zanesh.
Yeah.
Just clean the chat. Yeah. Oh, hello, good conk.
Chat was always dead.
Yeah, Monk Gaming, folks. All right, order right here for O3Splash. They don't end up really needing to get too much use out of it. I think the conk there sending Wub off the map was enough to get Rad X Avidity to pull on out.
Yeah, and Avidity, they don't have the rally at that time to kind of stay inside and fight through the orbital, right? They end up backing out, trying to, like, kite away. And you just get hit with a conk there over on the bridge. I mean, nothing really Wub can do about that. That's the spot that you kind of kite to. Just it comes on through that conk, and it's really well placed. So I'll have O3Splash taking control of the point. But, ooh, look at this. Deadeye comes on through.
Yeah, Elva's trying to avoid that. Wub doesn't quite have a full channel, not enough to clip the wings of the Farah at least, but they're going to wrap around the point here. In the meantime, though, O3Splash have gone forward, maybe even sensing there might be some pressure coming at them. Elva, it looked like that might have been a javelin that caught them out there, but it's going to be Sugu falling first, and a Terror Surge to get rid of the Juno, who's going to put Rad X Avidity back in a comfortable spot here.
I like how you said they're sensing the pressure coming towards them. It's the rally with an orbital ray. I would say, I would say that's a lot of pressure coming at them.
Clinking as he just goes around the outside.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you could do, right? In terms of, like, having to fight on the point with you know, the other team having those two ultimates. Terror Surge just to group players up, just to add insult to injury. And now you have Bun with the blade, right? This is an opportunity for Avidity to take this first round.
It will be an unassisted Dragon Blade, though, especially with no support ultimates on the side of Rad X Avidity. O3Splash might be able to build towards an orbital ray here, which, again, a decent answer to the Dragon Blade if you get it in time, but Sugu's already gone down. Switching to the Cassidy, that's been no good. And very quickly, 12's just kill steals. But now we're going with the blade. It would have been an easy one to deal with a Juno, but they'll settle at least for the Ana. And Rad X Avidity can settle into this one comfortably. A great opening here on Lijiang.
Yeah, and I think we've seen it in the past, right, where teams that kind of play the Farah, if you can kind of get control of the point first, right, and then as the other team's moving through the chokes, be able to just put down that damage with the Farah, you're able to see success. It's when you're trying to, like, take the point back, I think that's when the Farah hurts a little bit. It's a little bit harder to do, so O3Splash opportunity here to make some changes. Looks like I'm going to be hovering a Echo comp. We do see teams, we saw a decent amount for EMEA play the Junker Queen. Rad X Avidity, I think you probably see, but I think she'll probably pick up the Genji yet again. So I think it's just a TP out of the spawn, then a swap to the Genji. Brig also now in the mix for KHD and O3Splash is. Do we see, okay, so I was going to say maybe do you see like Echo Tracer? They play Echo Cassidy here.
Right. With the Queen, of course, in the mix here for Romani. I think I've seen from them before. Elva here, no full commitment early on here. O3Splash notices a bit of action here inside these small corridors. Knife hit for Romani, but no attempt to follow up now. Really just neutral trading, but 12s might have extended pretty deeply. They've lost their armor entirely, and now they're very, very at risk, I'll say. Hyper Ring, though, is going to get O3Splash moving up. They need to get this Queen into effective range right now, and 12s is doing a good job of keeping Romani at bay, but is taking so much damage in order to do so. They've got to get off the point as a result. They need to get healed up, and it's coming very, very slowly. Still barely building that armor, but they're ready to go now, as Romani gives a bit of space as well. They're low, Commanding Shout available now, so that'll get them back onto the point here. As Rad X Avidity playing defensively have accrued about 17% already.
Yeah, both the Queen and the Orisa really need to kind of play around the cooldowns, right? Because as soon as whether Queen's cooldowns are gone, or for the Orisa, the armor's gone, both tanks really squishy. So you see both just kind of going in, using the cooldowns, trying to get the other one back. As Romani did create a lot of space there, getting 12s low, but not enough to flip the point.
Yeah, it's getting him to the back of the point, though. That's the risky part. Romani moves up, and then you see all the cooldowns out of 12s, and yep, just like this. Coming straight through with the Javelin spin now. Orbital Ray for Rad X Avidity. They're able to poke and charge up that support ultimate, whilst getting 40% on the point. O3Splash really dithered for quite some time, but at least getting rid of Bun, they have that player advantage now. Rad are going to be popped, though, instantly by Nenwai here, and there is a Terror Surge on board for 12s. And again, Rad X Avidity just give the point up. Wub's able to flank around. No connection there. It looks like the Echo of Elva was able to get out of that line of sight here. A nice bio-nade, or rather, the anti-heal, excuse me, from Romani's ultimate. Means it's impossible to keep 12 standing.
Man, it takes forever for O3Splash to kind of get on in, and I gotta say, for Avidity, I mean, that's a pretty decent first fight, right? You get 53% on the point. You do a great job between Bun and Twirls, just kind of exchanging who kind of touches the point to kind of keep it going and contested, and you get a large amount of percentage here. You come back with a blade, potentially in a spot to flip it back.
Oh, dangerous. Okay, Bun able to get the healing that they need. Drop down. Hyper Ring deployed, but Radx Avidity with no intention of making use of it just yet. Sticky bombs are a problem. Both DPS draw a bead on the Genji, and Radx Avidity again are down to 4. Now that lead that they built, playing defensively, playing safe over the point, is mostly dissipated.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they could have kept Bun alive there, right? That's a O3Splash rally that comes out, nothing to really deal with the blade. You could have maybe re-engaged with that, but after Bun falls, now it's gonna be a new fight that comes in here with O3Splash in the lead. Bun, see the blade come on through, takes out Romani, as they got pushed all the way far out from the rest of the team.
Yeah, but look at the kill involvement. I think Romani ate a javelin from Twirls and then Wipe hit them with a grenade, so they really can't run away. They're forced to just sort of limp off the point, and it's an easy Dragon Blade pickup, and it's safe use of that ultimate from Wipe to ensure that player advantage. This does mean, though, the Radx Avidity have to dig in now. This next fight is going to be messy with both Juno ultimates at the ready.
Yes, but I think where Avidity will have the edge, right, is they're going to have Rally. Telva really high up in the sky. Trying to maybe see if they can get a duplicate here from behind. Is dips down to the low ground, doesn't want to get hit with the Dead-Eye.
So they're pushing up in a spot. Oh my goodness, this is aggressive. The orbital ray, but Sugareru takes him down. They come from the off angle. And that's one ultimate that Orbital Ray doesn't help you with at all. What a massive misstep here for Radx Avidity. Can they buy enough time? Twirls here is more than happy just to try and stall O3Splash up in their spawn. But man, they really overlooked that Cassidy ultimate.
Yeah, no, but Bun is forced to go back and contest the point there. Elva on it as let's see here.
Kidding.
Oh, that is a sick off angle there with the Dead-Eye.
So aggressive there from Radx Avidity. Orbital Ray into the enemy spawn. It's one thing to move up the spawn camp, that's fine. The commitment of that Juno ultimate now means it's going to be hard to get back in the round. Elva, though, very quick elimination there on Wub, and Radx Avidity really have nothing to work with anymore. Romani with the Rampage. Bun's able to win that fight out, but Twirls was anti-healed. It's just the Genji. Not much they can do about it either. Still overtime triggered by Bun as they were able to touch the point, but we're going to go to a third round here on Lijiang. Nick called him out. This one promises to be a close series.
Yeah, very back and forth round here as now we move in to our final round here on Lijiang Tower. Can O3Splash continue to play this Queen? I feel like on this, next point, I feel like this is where you can actually probably play the Queen, right? You have that central pillar to easily kind of use his cover, not as much space, like open area to cross as I know our previous point. So I feel like that you can continue to play this Queen if you want, if you're O3Splash.
I'm fine with it. The plan is really the same as what we saw earlier from O3Splash. I do think that they want to try and cross the divide a little bit. If Radx Avidity want to poke them down with this Orisa comp, which you really want to do against the Junker Queen, they need to find a way to get into them and get a good engagement without like ultimates to set them up, right? I think they're gonna have to do it without.
Yeah, I think this is quite interesting, right? Because we see an Ana here from KHD, which typically we see the Ana reserved for like Winston-based compositions. But you're going to play the Ana here with a Queen.
It's a healing throughput consideration, I think. I think they just want more heal per second over onto Romani, combining with the Juno. The Brig doesn't obviously give you that. If you're playing a poker or a long-range game, the Brig just doesn't give you really any healing at all outside of those repair packs. KHC goes down though, so that's that vulnerability, lack of mobility that Ana has, maybe getting exploited to some degree there. And now O3Splash in the thick of the fight map, but missing a lot of their key pieces.
Yeah, they're in the thick of a fight that they're gonna lose. Where, that's I think the worry there is, KHD lose right off the rip. Not a lot of area to like kind of hide, take an off angle with the Ana here. It's very easy to dive, and Bungie realized that right away and just goes right on top of the Ana. Takes them out really easily.
Here comes O3Splash again. Building nano might just be crucial to allow Junker Queen to cross into this Orisa. You're gonna see the poke. Look at that Romani health bar. Look at how frequently they have to be attended to here. Playing out in the open, just poking. can't fully commit here. Waiting for a shout to be available. Nice knife. Might be able to do something with that one. Gets caught, goes for the Deadeye. And 12's body blocks it beautifully. Elva taken down by the Cassidy ultimate. And now Radix Avidity kicking up a gear.
Oh man, and wall push right in the spawn, taking some heads there right at the end. As this will set Radix Ability up really well here, Mitch, to be able to kind of close this one out. At 50% on the point, double support ult with a blade here. You can kind of play at the choke. Really good setup for them.
Damn, Paris Eternal could never. All right, one. Keep it coming. Hyper Ring and Orbital Ray combination here. Terror Surge to try and catch O3Splash as they move on in. Rampage did catch, and 12 goes down as a result. NY, though, able to keep Wub standing because of that rally. Bun and Wub getting their hands dirty. Make no mistake, this is much cleaner from Radix Avidity here. And that was into a Juno ultimate situation.
Yeah, and now you're finally coming up. I mean, is the play to just go for like Nano Blade here from O3Splash? Like, is that kind of why you're playing? You know, Romani now will play the Orisa to match, so the Queen, we're going to kind of throw that away. Feels like you're looking around like a Nano Blade here, potentially. Like, I don't know if you would have wanted to play Diana the entire round just for, you know, this possibility.
I've got caught by a javelin there, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Elva's into the backline. Quick hitter and throw from the grenade, and now Elva finds himself on the back foot. They've got to back up. Nice javelin spin there for Romani to give them a safe space, but Bun comes up, and Elva couldn't quite get back around the corner. And that one elimination might just be enough here. O3Splash were able to flip the point because of the disengagement from blue side. But now Bun's going to push up with the rest of Radix Avidity. That Bionade there from KHD is all well and good, but there's no follow-up to speak of. And there you have it, folks. Lijiang Tower wrapped up as Radix Avidity get it done.
Yeah, I mean, you play around that Nano with the blade there towards the end. It doesn't result in anything there. Radix Avidity, they kite it perfectly. Bun, she gets one with the blade, and you just come back and take the point. They had a Deadeye, I believe, there for Wub as well. Like, if they would have tried to, you know, come on in for O3Splash, where Avidity looks really good there in map number 1.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was pretty hard fought. We saw the Junker Queen composition find some success for O3Splash, especially on Night Market, right? But Radix Avidity's game plan is pretty clear. Just poke, use that space, don't allow the Junker Queen to move up for free. So much so that, like, O3Splash are picking up an Ana and saying, we need Nano, we need a lot of healing, we need our Junker Queen to get in there. It's playing the game on hard mode a little bit, and since Orisa, you know, recently got a little bit of a buff, just bringing her back in line with some of the rest of the tanks, she's just a great option here when you want to set someone like Wub up for success. And you, of course, always have that Brig rally option if things get a bit dicey.
It just feels like the Ana is such an easy target when there's no Brig or, you know, something like that to support, right? When you're playing Juno with the Ana, it feels like the Ana's just all alone. Really easy for the Genji, especially on the other side, to be able to dive. And yeah, like you mentioned, they just kind of poke down this Queen, right? Don't let the Queen get up, take space. And you see once the Queen doesn't have any cooldowns there, right? no Shroud, no Axe, it really easily falls.
Yeah, I mean, you make a great point. You talk about how both these tanks are really, they're really predicated on that cooldown rotation. So we get these like pauses, these moments where both tanks like break line of sight, try and get out of the fight in general. Here's this kiting of the blade here is beautiful. I love the peel here from Twirls. It's sometimes hard to be aware of this when you're, you know, fighting in a Orisa mirror in the front line, but being able to come back through there and, you know, be able to keep your back line alive is huge. I would suggest that Radix Avidity take this 2-0 if they don't get absolutely trolled by the double kill, the Cassidy Deadeye as they push into O3Splash's spawn. But you know what?
Yeah.
That's not a hit all there, really.
Yeah, I mean, everything heavily favoring, you know, Radix Avidity, right? I think goes to show how good they were kind of throughout the map. And yeah, I mean, look, they tried to make an aggressive play into O3Splash's spawn. Doesn't exactly work out. But the idea was there, right? I know that it was a good play. It's just a little, I mean, it's an even better one from O3Splash.
I mean, no, it's fine. They thought they had like 3 or 4 players caught.
Yeah.
That's because the Cassidy was on the off angle.
They just had the Cassidy on the other side.
Yeah. Really hard to answer that as well. You know, like you might have a Genji in that situation that can turn around and deflect, but it's marginal. Very, very hard to get out of it. And just a small thing, but it was already a pretty close and hotly contested round anyway.
Well, I believe Bun isn't there at the time because she's back on the point contesting it because Elva had, like, we were on board with Elva and they were.
Well, she ain't deflecting. Ain't no one deflected. The javelins
deflected with their bodies. They just didn't. They just absorbed the damage with their bodies, which unfortunately resulted in them going back to the spawn. That's what
That verb might be the exact opposite of deflect, but I do see where you're going with that. Yeah, they got hit pretty hard. But in general, like Radix Avidity's comps, nothing too crazy. It looks like it's Orisa based, and they are sticking with the Brigitte Juno composition. That seems to do a lot for them. Wub looks extremely clean on the Cassidy as well.
And it's interesting because if you're O3Splash and you want to play Queen, like what map is Queen more effective than Orisa, right? like in a lot of scenarios, you'd probably play them in the same spot. We do see, I believe the week that we casted, we did see some Queen play on New Junk City. That was quite good. So maybe that's a possibility. But you look across some of the other maps, right? I mean, maybe Esperanza or like Runasapi, you could kind of get away with the Queen.
Honestly,
maybe make an argument, but I don't know, man.
Play that brawl style on some of these Clash maps too. I'm just throwing it out there. You can
little Throne of Anubis. I don't think we've seen Hanaoka, at least in NA. But we've seen Throne of Anubis.
So in week 1 of our groups, we saw a lot more of it in Europe. Yeah, we did see Hanaoka and Throne of Anubis. I think both of those maps there. Look, you want to play a brawl style, then obviously Midtown is probably the most desirable of your hybrid options here. And we can have a conversation about playing it on push, but I don't love. I think Esperanza is probably the best opportunity for that Queen. You can also play it on Runasapi. I just think if you're expecting to run into Orisa, much like Romani did in that last round, you may have to mid-rate it. It's just
okay.
Good job.
I was gonna say, or you just just rush off the table and play like Gibraltar, right? And just say, all right, screw it, we're just gonna play, Winston or Diva base comps, right? But New Junk City, like I mentioned, we've seen some Queen play here, so we'll see if that's what O3Splash wants to continue going with.
The scary part about Orisa is that she's pretty relentless, especially if you don't have the ability to poke. She's obviously not designed to be a long-range hero, but she can interact with you at those sort of medium ranges, right? Which is, consequently also where like Cassidy, for example, is quite effective here. And she really doesn't stop. She's always shooting at you. Don't worry about the overheating. That never really happens. I've seen Orisas in poke games like literally fortify to stop the overheat just so they can keep holding M1 down for the team. So yeah, I think a different strategy may be required. You might consider, I'm fine with the Juno. I'm fine with the Hyper Ring to try and give you the engagements. It doesn't look like it might be quite as consistent as O3 require it. And it's not something you can just turn on and off at a whim like Lucio can. So once you've used that cooldown, you have to go. You have to wait now for your Junker Queen and your Juno cooldown to be back up in order to engage.
So I like this for O3. If you're gonna play Queen, like kind of go all in, right? And play Venture, Genji, with the Queen. Just go hyper aggressive with it, right? Trying to play the Cassidy and or like a Tracer Cassidy Genji, right? With the Queen, it feels like you're kind of stuck in the middle. Where here, at least, like, hey, we're just gonna go all out with aggression.
I just think it's dangerous for Otis having to play against Cassidy, who will really punish them if they get too floaty with it. And this is like a clash of two styles. Orisa wants to hold you at arm's length and keep you in mid-range. Junker Queen wants to clamber all over you and make sure that you're extremely irrevocably dead. So we'll see what the play is going to be for O3. Okay, so they want to pick first, but chasing a Genji Bun, she's pretty slippery. Not an easy pick to find.
There's a few cooldowns out there from O3Splash trying to chase the Bun, but it doesn't seem to matter. It looks like the Venture coming up.
Yeah, and again, looks like there was a link up as well with the Junker Queen in the front line, but that Venture emergence, being able to pick off that slightly less mobile Juno. That is beautiful. That's exactly what we're looking for. That's why we see the Venture switch up here for O3Splash. And now that Radix Avidity have to push into this Queen comp, you feel a bit more favored as O3Splash now if you can play corners.
Yeah, it's also really threatening, right? Because as soon as 12's armor is gone, there's a lot of ability to kind of close the gap from O3Splash. I can put that pressure on, whether it be, a burrow and a drill on in, or whether it's a dash. So a lot of different ways to put pressure on the Orisa.
But this is the range that Orisa wants to play at. This is right here. This is her optimal range. And you notice the Junker Queen is like trying to get them and eventually opts out of trying to deal with the enemy front line and tries to dive, at least getting Wub here, but that's a huge commitment that causes Sugu as well to get picked off here. And Radix Avidity are going to play around the rally on the point here. There's not much chance for O3 to get back in. The upside is that they've stalled it pretty well. So O3 getting it north of 70%, meaning just one more fight win required here.
Yes, Elva looking for maybe a kill there on the exit, but extended it for probably about like 8%. Like kept it going there. I believe KHD towards the end as well. Jumps onto the point. So pretty good start with this really aggressive style of play from O3Splash. And I think, like you mentioned, like it's going to be really, there's going to be the Rampage really early. That actually connects with 3 players, Mitch. That's a Wob, Twirls, and Ninwai all hit by that Rampage. So those players for Avidity pushed up a little bit too far, and the Queen just ran right on in.
I mean, we talk about the anti-heal from Rampage all the time, but we don't actually talk about the gap close ability of it. You know, instead of having to walk up under commanding shout, you can just ult and be in their face. And Sugu also, I think, comes out with like 2 or 3 kills there, just emerging where the Queen is. I guess it's a spin on like the Malga Venture comps that O3Splash look really comfortable working with. And now Rad have to give that close fight to O3Splash. They have to fight in an uncomfortable close range. And it's not going well for them. Romani is able to get, value out of the axe swing of all things. That's when you know the Queen is having the time of her life. Great work here for O3Splash. They get a good 70%, Matt, and then they come in with a Rampage.
Yeah, and it's both support ultimates for both teams used there towards the end of that first flashpoint that O3Splash wins. When now you kind of look across the board, right? Bunshy's got this blade, but you have a lot of ways to just avoid it on the other side, right? I know the Venture ultimate could be huge, right? Just the damage and then knockback there from Sugarero, and then also Elva with a blade of their own. So this fight is pretty huge. You see O3Splash pushing right up, trying to control the choke.
Yeah, and they want to play this close choke, not the wider one on the right-hand side here. Tolzo has isolated Romani here and gets them back towards that mid-range, but here comes Bum with the blade. She's looking now to break this fight right open, and KHD succumbs pretty quickly. Sugarera, they were able to deal with Bun, emerging there, taking her down during Blade, and our Tectonic Shock is online. The Orisa on the point is a bit of an issue. Sugarera is going to need some help here. I don't know if they can really 1v1 that at all, but Romani has returned to the fray. Can't connect the knife onto the airborne Juno here, and Wub goes down, though. Still not enough for Romani.
Do you feel good about this, though, if your O3Splash is Ninwai ends up using the rally towards the end? When Romani ends up using the Rampage, it takes out the wall. So you kind of trade the Rampage there for the rally on the other side, scuffed ahead of Otters in terms of building towards that orbital rate. But you're going to have that extra rally here for O3Splash.
And you can force a fight here too, Matt. There's a Romani using the barricades to move up on the point, contest that directly. Terra Surge! Sugarera is able to at least burrow away, but Otter's already got picked off. That's what I mentioned earlier. It's dangerous for Juno up against Cassidy here. And the damage was already done long before Wub got picked off there by the Venture.
Yeah, that's the Tectonic Shock used there. By Sugarera is this a nice stagger here on the KHD. This one's going to be tough to bounce back from. So you do get that rally a bit earlier, like I mentioned, but you may not even really be able to use it here. You may end up having it for the start of the fight on the next point, as we're already up to 85% here.
Matt, Rad are probably going to let them contest just because they want to play out in that open area. We'll see if they get a touch. 12's by it as well. Just try and go in with a javelin spin, but we'll have overtime here. Suki thought about turning up there, but no, they opt away from it. Scuffed here to try to help Wubby with a big Deadeye, and Romani and KHD both go down. That is going to be it for this flashpoint. No bouncing back, not with an orbital ray in the mix either. And devastatingly, O3Splash used theirs as well.
Another huge Deadeye there that we've seen in this game. One from Sugarero, now this time from Wub. But yeah, both orbital rays used. O3Splash still has that advantage in terms of rally here for this next fight. But Avidity look much better fighting that type of area here as we move on to the next flashpoint. It'll be Avidity who gets to the point first.
They do have the randomness of the flashpoint break fairly well for them. Once again, try and play long ranges here. Romani, just the knife is not going to be enough to bring Rad Avidity to him. Again, no real pick opportunities now, but a chance to move in and take space. You can hear that constant healing going the way of the Queen. Romani building up to another Rampage here, so a good fight for O3Splash and then start the next one. At least, with that Junker Queen ultimate could be the ticket. But here's a rally from KHD early. Gets him up close. Romani's still respecting this pressure though, despite being at fairly full health now. Rad Avidity pop their own rally now. Tolls wants to come forward. It's a Terra Surge earned once more here. No cap of the point though, I want to point that out. O3Splash just dipping their toe in to keep it contested. And here's a blade for Elva, they're going to go in. Sugarero already ahead of them now, diving in on that Venture. They've gone to the backline, but Elva's a little bit late. Still, Ninwai going to be falling. Here's a blade from Bun coming out in response, and the Terra Surge brings everyone together in a nice little package.
Yeah, really awesome combo there from Twirls and Bun, but point now finally goes in favor of Avidity as everybody will end up falling here from O3Splash towards the end. As I really like how Avidity, they kind of kited the blade, right? You know, they ran away from Elva, a nice spear spin from Twirls, knocks back the Genji of O3Splash. And then they also do a good job of keeping the point contested while KFC has that rally, and they get the rally second. Romani ends up using the Rampage, gets a kill or two off the back of it, but the Terror Surge plus the blade there from Avidity too strong to fight through.
This Tectonic Shock has to be used carefully. You cannot just int here as Sugareru, because obviously while they're channeling that ultimate, they are above ground entirely. Makes them pretty susceptible to someone like Cassidy as Wub try to go for the Deadeye there. He's the orbital ray. Sugareru emerges and gets blasted instantly. Just slightly drew it up, folks. Dell trying to dive in there past Wub, but they're mostly ignored here as Bun had eyes for KHD. And now without the brig in play, O3Splash are out of options at least. A Tech Shock has been held onto, but there's no big ultimates to combine it with for one last fight, and there's not even really time for that.
No, and even then, like, what would you combine it with, right? Like, for Avidity, you have the Terror Surge, right? You know, you can use Terror Surge with, like, a Tectonic Shock, you use it with Blade. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can kind of combo.
That's why Malgo was so good.
Yeah, we know that's why Malgo was good, but we don't need Malgo to be good.
No,
we're okay with
Did I mention he who shall not be named?
Yeah, we're okay with Malgo, you know, staying where he's at for now.
Point is, O3Splash don't have anything to draw all of Radx Avidity together. So Sugareru does some gardening instead, just tilling the soil, getting some oxygen in there. I love to see that. It's gonna be very fertile the next time we come around to this map. O3Splash here getting hammered in the front line. Twirls coming forward now and just bowls Sugareru over again. That's the venture. Not getting any value in this fight whatsoever. A rally for Nenwai means that Radx Avidity can just steamroll O3Splash.
I mean, you see where the rally is going, and like 4 to 5 for the Orisa as well. The Spear, I mean, there's just nothing you can do. She becomes a little bit like a raid boss there. As trying to get that kill on Otters, nobody able to put a few shots into the Juno for O3Splash as they head on back. I feel like you're getting into dire territory here for O3Splash, right? Sugareru now switching over to the Sojourn because you're really not getting that much value out of the Venture at this point.
Oh, okay. So headshot there. Railgun connected on the Wub after they got hit by the knife. Here's the Rampage. That is bloody beautiful. Order though, pretty powerful ability. The anti-heal though should hit harder. Still, and then we're able to benefit from a little bit more of that Juno ultimate, but the fight is already over. And this is a hard point to get Rampage value on. Frankly, you have to take the fight high and hope everyone stands around and lets you slap him.
I mean, O3Splash needed something huge to happen there. And I mean, Sugareru coming up with the first pickoff, but then Romani with the Rampage through the orbital strike, so you're able to pick up some kills. I mean, that is the type of play you needed from both those players. And really, O3Splash to make this one close, right? Because it looked like Radx Avidity kind of running away with it at the moment.
Sugareru here. Now all of a sudden a little happier to play at that medium range that Orisa wants to set up. Can't say the same for the rest of O3Splash though. In they come. Sugareru gonna slide on forward now. Deadeye for Wub catches out Otters again. Juno a little susceptible to that hit scan pressure. The Wub has to give up his life for that kill. How do you go on with this? They move up, take that high ground and get the Sojourn.
Yeah, this is an advantage for Avidity, right? You still end up having your Juno in the mix, right? A large source of healing. You're gonna have a blade here as well. Bun ends up popping it really weak.
Romani with the vertical shotgun blast. Catches out Bun, but she'd done enough. Twirls able to move up on that low ground here and stay of execution for Otters. And they're going to be able to get out alive, but only just.
Otters, the escape artist, right? It feels like 0 HP every single fight, you know, trying to lead towards the end. This is going to be brutal though for O3Splash, Mitch. Walking into double support ult on the other side in a final fight scenario with really not much to work with.
Doesn't feel particularly winnable, Matt. Feels really rough. Overclock here for Sugareru at the very least. But oh, it's messy! Here comes the javelin spin. Bun already found Sugareru, took them down, and both those support ultimates get laid, virtually rendering Radx Avidity unkillable. Bun, no surprise to maybe see the only casualty be that Genji. But outside of that, O3Splash don't have much to work with. Point is going to get flipped back momentarily. Elva had to bow out of the fight in order to set this up. But there's no one to take advantage of it here, and that will be New Junk City tied up. Radx Avidity make it their second map.
Yes, they take this one 3-1 there on New Junk City. They just look so strong. I think now you really got a question for O3Splash. Like, can you continue to try and force this queen into the mix? Like, if you know, Lijiang Tower and then this one are probably two of the maps that you think it's probably the most effective on. So now that you've lost both of those back to back, what do you do here, right? I know you got push still. No, I mean, yeah, you still got push in the mix. You know, you could go like to one of the escorts, like you mentioned, some of the hybrids, not exactly great. I feel like it's a rough scenario to be in.
I think you've really gone through your best maps here to make the Junker Queen work well. Control can definitely do it, and New Junk City, definitely the kind of map we think it's looking good. Great start for O3Splash, I would say. I mean, they get a lot of that early map control. They force that fight where Sugareru just sort of dives in and Romani is there. And this is when they return after eventually giving up the point with a rampage that lets them close the gap instantly. But it feels like so much needs to go right for this Junker Queen composition. And while it does happen at the start of the map, those opportunities, those sort of fortuitous events don't really occur for the rest of the map, not at least nearly often enough.
Yeah, and I think early on you were seeing them have more success with this you know, aggressive style of play, right? With Venture and Genji with the Queen. And then I think on the other side for Avidity, they did a great job of like, okay, we don't need to panic. We don't need to change a lot of things up. We're just going to change our play style up a little bit, right? I know, just better positioning and whatnot. To end up fighting this. And I think once they did, I mean, this is a great rampage, but once they did, they were able to kind of you know, battle back, take it from O3Splash rather convincingly.
I mean, this was that other sort of stars aligning moment, I think, for this O3Splash composition.
Yeah, look at this Orisa. I mean, what do you do?
It's rally and orbit array, and you're actually playing so beautifully within the confines of that orbit array. Like, you absolutely don't care. Nothing matters at that point.
It's just sturdy at 650 HP with all that armor. I mean, there's really not much you can do. This scoreboard looks very similar to map number 1. Starting to see a trend here between these two teams is of, you know, the fans at the beginning, you know, they went with O3Splash. I thought the series would be really close. I think the first two maps, they have been close, right? But Avidity still comes out on top in the end.
I mean, with O3Splash's comp, they need to have a lot more healing than Radix Avidity do, because they're obviously using a Junker Queen who doesn't actually have any forms of active damage mitigation outside of the overshield she gains from Commanding Shout. This is why we saw them in the past opt to bring the Ana in, but you're not playing Ana against like this. You eat one javelin and you are dead to Cassidy across the map. Like, it is just so hard to play right. I understand the Brig, but yeah, it's hard to get Inspire uptime with this comp. You see it every single fight. The Brig is like, okay, I need to be somewhere. I can whip shot, and that's about it. We got another map coming at least. We'll see if O3Splash can bounce back. Maybe they can make this Queen composition work on the map that they're choosing. Don't go too far. This is OWCS NA Groups. It is our decider in Group C. Dangerous waters here for O3Splash. Pun absolutely intended. They are on the precipice of being eliminated here from OWCS Stage 4. The last chance for our teams in North America to qualify for Stockholm this year. New Junk City was a map pick of theirs, and it did not go well for them. They played that Junker Queen we saw in map number 1, and it still struggled, even when paired up with that extra Venture pressure, that all-in potential that we saw about twice on that map, and it looked so good. Outside of that, though, they were cannon fodder for this Orisa Cassidy comp.
Yeah, I mean, now it feels like they're in a little bit of trouble, like you mentioned. What do you do here on King's Row? Do you have anything kind of up your sleeve? This is actually one of the maps that they ended up winning against Ramatra Punch. So just to, you know, throw that out there. Maybe they got something a little bit different here planned for King's Row, because the way it's gone so far, it's not been good here for O3Splash. Pretty close in a lot of these maps, but still it feels like you just kind of lose the war of attrition there towards the end.
Definitely. I'd say, yeah, early on New Junk City, we really like what we saw from O3Splash. And they might still want to come in with a Junker Queen based composition here. So much of our discussion over this series about sort of, you know, the optimal range and really where these two teams want to be playing. You know, it's definitely going to benefit Radix Avidity as defenders who can fall back to a couple of locations on this map. Also be really annoying from high ground with their Cassidy setup. Do O3Splash combined with this? Might just be some cheeky shots here off Spore, and then we'll see the real composition. But again, it will be Juno and Brig for O3.
Well, and typically on offense, right? Like, you could see the Orisa here, or you would play something that's a little bit more dive-centric to kind of access some of that high ground, where the Queen, I mean, there's no way you do that, right? Double sniper here off the rip, probably just see if they can find one. There's maybe we continue here. Nope. We're gonna continue to say the Widowmaker. So this is good in the sense of like you can outrange the Cassidy on the other side, right? Even if there's an Ashe, you can still do that as well. Just Ashe can play a little bit more aggressively, but this should force Wub into some difficult spots.
But Radix Avidity immediately have the correct protocol for playing against Widow on this map. Play inside the hotel and also like trying to find a way to pressure her off those sightlines or dive her. Sugareru definitely starting to feel the pinch a little bit here. As Radix Avidity have circled around, but Suga's able to find that pick on the Juno. And now it will be a little bit hard to dig out of this position. The cap has begun for O3, and Radix Avidity only have the healing off this Brig to rely on right now. Not ideal for staying in a longer fight here. Sugareru, with that one pick, has really opened this up.
Yeah, Bun just trying to chase around Sugareru across the map. Really difficult to close in on that Widowmaker, and just that early pick off there on the Scuffed. That's going to open up the points here. So O3Splash, they take first point. Can you continue to do this, though? So we'll take a look here. This from Sugareru's POV is a really nice shot falling down there.
That'll be some vertical correction. A lot of Widow headshot lobbies under Sugareru's belt, no doubt. Okay, so that opens up the map here, and once again, Radix Avidity can't play on the straightaway here, which is a little annoying because, Orisa does want to get some poke value, start to put some heal pressure down on O3Splash. Yes, Brig is there. Position is noted, and this is Bun's job. She has to go after Sugareru over and over again, but looks like she's up for the challenge.
Yeah, that's a much easier position, right, for Bun to attack. It's a casual little 3K here. Make it 4. Go.
Come on, give it to her.
Yeah,
that's dirty.
That's sick.
All right, I'm here for all of that. That right there, yes, I'm here for all of that. Beautifully done. Okay, so Blade almost built up here for Bun, and now Radix Avidity get to play a little closer here, a little bit more oppressive towards the spot of O3Splash. But this obviously is where Junker Queen can thrive. It's just frustrating having to push out of this choke to different angles here being held.
Well, let's see, without the space and without the Widowmaker headshots and, the pickoffs, if you can actually break out of this. That's going to be the Rampage in rally use here, like basically in the spawn for O3Splash.
Oh, you've got to be happy with that. Also, Radix Avidity want to commit their orbital raid here. O3Splashes may come a little late, but they're in position to benefit from it more than Radix Avidity are. So we're going to throw all of our support ultimates in here, and Radix Avidity are probably not too fast because they forced these out early. They have a Dragon Blade for this next fight. Both their DPS ultimates up, in fact. So eyes are on the Genjis in this next engagement.
And the card's not even at the first corner, right? The card is still in the choke. So for Radix Avidity, like you mentioned, yeah, you come back, you fight this around Bun's Blade. You don't have anything to do with Elvis on the other side of things, though, so that could be a bit scary. But you feel like you're going to buy yourself some time here. You win this next fight if you're Radix Avidity.
Pickaxes shouldered once more. Off to the battlefront is Twals. Okay, Hyper Ring going to be used here. Clearly, Radix Avidity want to get connection off this Deadeye. I think the cat's well and truly out of the bag now, but Elvis split themselves off in order to avoid instant death to Cassidy. And ultimately, they get caught.
And that's really nice from Bun and Scuff being able to chase down the Genji on the other side. This puts O3Splash in a really odd spot, right? They're stuck in the middle of nowhere here.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you see what Romani's trying to do. He's like, okay, I can get a full engage here. This was fine. But instantly, Twals breaks O3Splash up. And like we mentioned, Otters eats one Javelin, and they're dead to basically anything.
Yeah, and then when I builds up basically towards a rally there in that fight, and same with Scuff getting very close to an orbital race. So going to have these support ultimates that everybody expend that previous fight back early. I think El would probably be a little bit surprised if they go with the Blade if there's a rally on the other side.
I mean, you're dead right. That's actually going to be so frustrating for Elva to run into, but they have to have assumed that this is available. I don't know what the tracking's like for Radix Avidity right now. Ivana's looking for something. Terra Surge comes in here. She's looking to work around the edges of it. Elva went in with the Blade, and NY never had a chance to use their rally at all. And this is without Romani having to rampage. Elva with a deflect. Good timing there. Bundo and Twals combining. Twals healthy enough here to be a nuisance, but this Juno is hard to catch, and still, Twals was able to find Elva. Not sure from where they pulled that one.
Yes, Romani still got the cart moving. It's going to be Twals actually going back, playing off the health pack. Now trying to use Spear Spin to get back towards the team, as you're going to need some source of healing. You're going to have both supports back now for Avidity.
Great axe swing timing from Romani, basically timing out the deflect from Bun perfectly to secure that kill. And again, Orisa doesn't really want to 1v1 a Junker Queen, if they can help it. Hypering again, and we're off to the races. Pushing straight up there. Radix Avidity say, okay, we want to play on this little straightaway here. We don't want to take a fight on this corner. So we'll let you move back up with this rally. We'll let you take this ground and then look to push you back once more, but an orbital ray might make that a little bit hard. And here's a rampage. Scuffed is going to bleed out. 12's also looking a little worse for wear, as Bun is trying to work some magic with the blade, but in the face of all this Juno healing, it's going to be tough. Romani now dealing with 12's. It's a very low Orisa, easy to break through.
Yeah, as the rampage just goes right through Wub as they're using the Deadeye. It's not able to get anything with that Cassidy ultimate. So some changes here towards the end for O3Splash, bringing in the Echo, bringing in a Sojourn. Yet again, we saw them go to some of these heroes on Nugent City. It doesn't end up working out there, but allows them to take the second checkpoint here on King's Row.
I want to just put this out there. I wouldn't hate to see Lucio here just maintain for O3Splash.
Why?
Because again, they have many more windows that are less telegraphed to like push around a corner with Lucio speed. And again, like Beat does of course give you some equity against Dragonblade or something similar. I know Brig is very powerful right now, but it's always a question of whether O3Splash can get close enough to get that Inspire proc. Lucio nerfed a little bit in terms of maximum health, but it's not huge. They do switch off of it anyway, so we digress. But might have been an idea. Duped Orisa here in play, but the Terra Surge brings the imposter in. Let me disrupt the shot here thrown to the cart, so Radix Avidity have to be wary of it, but Elva's going to be knocked out of that dupe pretty quickly. They found Bun though, who's... What? Sorry? How did she survive that?
Yeah, I was like, Bun is for sure dead, but ends up surviving it. Some nice help there from the supports.
I mean, she rolling grease before that fight, there's no doubt about it. I don't know how she slipped through. Either way, good escape, but eventually she's brought down by the railgun of Sugareru. And now Radix Avidity going to back up in with the rally in play. They're a little bit scared of this overclock, as they should be. Now, Menwai takes a big hit from that one, and eventually Sugareru is able to finish the job. There's a Brig out of the mix now. There's going to be a commitment of both orbital rays, but the anti-heal from the Rampage is perfect for Romani.
The Rampage has been really good into the orbital ray there for O3Splash. It's definitely been like one of their win conditions. Really kind of the thing that's kind of led them to win a lot of their fights. Is that Radix Avidity, they'll come out, they'll try and get a touch here, as there'll be a Deadeye from Wob. Taking an off angle.
Romani nowhere to go except inside that small room. I respect this though, she's scary when cornered. 12 gives her a bit of space here. Here's a Terra Surge, able to bring that in now. And yes, KHD caught out low inside that one, no chance to get away. Menwai again punished. The Sojourn pressure against the Brig has been good for O3Splash, but it's not going to get him a map completion just yet.
Yeah, Romani gets forced in a really tough position. I mean, almost impossible for the Queen to play out of. Quite frankly, surprised. They lived as long as they did, right? With the Deadeye kind of forced them into that position, especially playing out against the Orisa. As see if Romani can get back towards the cart. Nobody can make it there for O3Splash, so that's where their offense will end.
Almost a map completion, but I just want to point out that this is O3Splash finding a miracle pick on a Juno at the start of the attacking round to kind of get them going. I feel like you can afford to make far less mistakes playing the Junker Queen composition against what Radix Avidity are bringing in here. Orisa just seems a little bit more robust, a little bit more forgiving.
And how do you play the Queen on defense, right? Like so much open area to have to fight from. You probably have to play like really close to the choke, or you have to play around that first pillar. I mean, you lose any of those fights, there goes first point, right? See if they decide to end up playing the Queen on defense. Like, this would be, at least first point would be one where you would think they could potentially change. So looking like they're hovering the D.Va.
Okay, something a little different. D.Va had reductions to her max health and max armor recently. Again, it was really just a small tone down. She's still very good at doing what she's always done. You can see Orisa here. I feel like that's fine. Orisa, again, can't interact with D.Va once she's able to use high ground effectively. I mean, I'm sure 12 will try and garner Romani's attention, but it'll be good, at least some form of dive pressure now on Radix Avidity.
Sit down.
Yeah, I like this composition for O3Splash on defense. I think the Ashe is really strong here. You can continue to run the Ashe a little bit later into the map as well. And then the D.Va makes way more sense, right, than trying to play a Queen in this type of scenario. So Wub connects the shot there. Not good enough for a kill. We'll see Wub go to the Cassidy. So do not want to play the Ashe in this type of situation here. They want to play a little bit more close quarters with that Cass.
Slower and steadier here for Radix Avidity. Poke down game, but they've already got themselves the high ground, something that Romani just gives up and looks to maybe put pressure on individuals. Wub can she slip away again? Rather Bun, excuse me. She has the deflect there to get back from Romani, and okay. We'll call a pause, that's fine. You know, it's been like 40 minutes.
Time out.
We're back, folks. About to jump into King's Row in a couple of moments. Just internet issues, just mild ones here. We're back into the fray already. And remember, this is Radx Avidity having just taken that high ground, looking to convert that into some point pressure.
As Bun will step up on the point, and like I talked about, you have the Sarisa Brig set up on the high ground here, right? Pushes that Ashe into a really tough position as Wub actually changes here to the Widowmaker, right? So Wub was on the Cassidy, so now gonna have that range to match this Ashe.
Okay, I think... Oh, okay, that was quick. I was gonna say, Romani's gonna cotton onto this pretty quickly, but Elva's already gone down. Romani's forced to play out in essentially no man's land to contest the point, which means for Wub it's all too easy. There's not a lot of pressure either on the Wub. Who's gonna go after them? There's no Genji for O3Splash. There's some long-range Ana pressure, maybe. Now, Wub is doing their job just by firing shots up into that top window. Nano Boost here, though, is a great time buy to get Elva back into the fight. The one hero that could pressure a Widow down if they could cross the gap. But Wub now is still adopting the same high ground position. Not a lot of targets to work with, but here it is. Elva is back, and Wub is back to spawn.
Yeah, you're gonna get a D-Mech here though, but with the orbital array that comes through from Scuff, not gonna be able to get back in mech, and now you're in a really difficult position because you've already given up 80+% here on the point.
Elva's options so limited there, really nothing they could have done already so far forward after trying to get rid of Wub. So the Widowmaker works out for both teams. Nice, we're going back to some brass tacks here. And Radx Avidity are on the road now with a rally in tow.
I think if you're Avidity, I think you probably ditch this Widowmaker after a death, right? You continue, maybe see if you can get a pick off here, keep the cart moving, but I feel like you potentially go back to Cassidy or even an Ashe of your own. It'll be the Queen that comes on back in here for O3Splash.
Otters really had to dash across that opening there and hope the Wub wasn't holding the line. So again, just the presence of Widowmaker doing what she does best. Putting the fear of God into folks. Bun in with the blade, and KHD back to Lumbridge with you. Very easy cleanup now as Radx Avidity also have this little impending threat of a pinch. And the Echo comes in, but the focusing beam won't really do much more than tickle Bun as she is quite healthy.
Yeah, we got a second late there, but it seemed like with the blade out, Bun actually deflected sleep back at KHD, then just kind of swiped at the body on the ground there as Wub finds Otters. This is turning bad here for O3Splash.
Again, once Radx Avidity get the fight they want, they get Orisa at the optimal range, they get Romani in shield bashing distance. It's lights out here for O3Splash, and they're switching to a Widow of their own now, just to try and exploit. Now, if Wub can get that aggressive position on top of their next part of high ground, it's going to be very difficult. And you better hope Elva's switching after this, because unfortunately, that really didn't do much more but stall.
You have to switch, right? As Sugar Ray gets hit with the spear and the shot gets pushed down from that high ground. So I really like the Bun was already trying to go up towards that high ground, push that Widowmaker back, right? Give Wub some more space, and Wub's gonna have a huge advantage here. I mean, she's gonna have the infrasight to use here in a second. Gonna force everybody, including Sugar Ray, in some really tough spots.
Still no Echo switch though. Okay, toss down with knife. Wub here maybe hoping for something on the way out, but the Junker Queen is coming to knock. And Bun ended up falling foul of a poison mine. Okay.
I'm surprised that happened there to Twals, right? You had all the supports alive, right? It wasn't like anybody was dead at the moment. Just ends up falling to the Queen.
Infrasight getting a lot of value there for Wub. They're able to pick off the Ana. Sugarero still opted to play that aggressive high ground spot despite an Infrasight being in play. Unless they mistimed it slightly, they weren't punished for it either way. The Elva turns up, and yeah, that Echo is going to be a problem for Widow play here. But again, now you're up against a defensive Widow. You kind of feel like you want to keep it if you can.
I was going to say, do you ditch it? Do you play like Ashe? I mean, you can play the Ashe in this type of situation, this area of the map, but it looks like for now, at least, Wub will continue playing the Widow. You feel confident, right? You have one pick with your Widow long range, especially where we're at. You're going to win the map.
You can still play corners and LOS with the card as well, so you're not too worried about the defensive Widow. However, the Echo getting 2 kills with one focusing beam might be a little bit higher on your priority list here. There's not a lot to deal with Elva right now for Radx Avidity. They still have 3 minutes to play, but Elva's built another ultimate up again.
Yeah, so you end up there trading the orbital ray for Nano and Rampage on the other side. So maybe that's a trade you feel good about. Is KHD over to Zen. So we saw some Zen in EMEA. Now just trying to large damage output, right, for O3Splash. That's what you're looking
Against the Widow. Picking that into a Widow is...
Yeah, that's wild.
That's crazy. Okay, but again, if they're feeling like Radix Avidity are slow, if they're playing slow, then Zen has value. Here's a Blade, though. I wouldn't call this slow at all. With a Cossack kick to Bung. She goes down. The Blade just fizzles entirely. And Radix Avidity are back to the drawing board yet again.
They got to be careful. I mean, they're kind of throwing this one in the bin as O3Splash starting to pick it up here on defense. I like the swap away from the Widow. Definitely just getting targeted here by this Echo constantly. But you're going to have Inversight here from Sugarero, so you're going to be able to buy some time.
Cheeky little attack is there from Sugareru. That's to block a Widow shot that comes in. Do love that. No Widow anymore for Radix Avidity. One concerned a bit more about the front line here and the Echo, because yeah, Elva's a problem. Inversight in play also means that Radix Avidity are probably going to chill in their little bunker for the next couple of seconds. They've timed it out basically properly, but there's still the issue of Sugareru being up on this high ground. They've got Elva though, that's big. One needs to be careful, but able to pick Otters off in mid-air. This is now Radix Avidity returning to what got them here in the first place. This Cassidy composition. Pretty good Rampage though, I'm not going to lie. The follow-up though isn't there. It's enough of it at least. Nenwai gets caught out there. A one-for-one trade and a Transcendency to try and slant things in favor of O3Splash. And oh, the Ray. It's a little too late for Scuffed.
Yeah, well, I mean, for now, let's see. You saw Tolls alive, Nenway in what?
Oh, they're chilling.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a really nice job now. It's going to be a duplicate here from Elva. Last-ditch effort trying to save the game for O3Splash.
50 seconds to go. Remember, it wasn't a full map completion for O3Splash. They have to stand tall here. One more fight and we're done. Deadeye for Wub. Oh, okay. Knocks Elva out of dupe at the very least here. Oh. Terror Surge going to be thrown down by Twirls. They want to push up. Romani's in trouble here. Cooldowns, though, about to come back online for Twirls yet again, and they're getting in the face of the Widow. Not much that Sugareru can do with this amount of space, and now it's going to be a stall with nothing but the Juno, and that's not enough. Radix Avidity close out the series with Kings Row, the last notch in the belt.
Yeah, it was a decent attempt at holding there at the end for O3Splash. He did a great job dwindling down a lot of clock. Really thought Sugareru on the Widow started to come alive, then Elva on the Echo, really taking advantage of the Widow on the other side. But then once the changes came in from Avidity, took a little bit of time to get going, but now once they kind of get back on even footing in terms of ultimates, they're able to spin in their favor.
Look, fun game because we are watching both teams that have their distinct styles and really want to stick to them. I like the mixing into the Widowmaker against like two slow comps that want to play like at medium ranges. That was a fun little twist here, but ultimately Radix Avidity, they've got a really safe comp that is not very, I mean, it's forgiving, right? You've got to be so good at this Queen setup, and it's not just the Queen, everyone else, and Danny, they were not quite able to hold it together.
You know, they really, I think, wanted to make that Junker Queen work, but I feel like, you know, that Orisa comp is definitely the meta now, right? You guys agree? It's, you know, Juno with the Orisa seems to be the meta for EMEA and both NA.
I think that the issue is like you would play Queen in the same type of setups almost that you would play the Orisa, where you could play the Orisa, like you could play Orisa with Genji and Venture if you want, right? And it's probably just better than playing it with like a Queen, where Queen it's a little bit harder to make work, right? I would say than the Orisa. And I don't think the upside is there. I do like the Rampage into the other team's Orbital Strike, though. I think that is definitely a high value use of that ultimate. I think that was really apparent in this series.
I think like Orisa's much less awkward to use now as well, because obviously she used to get slowed a fair bit during Fortifier, right? The kind of the downside to like that ability, but now the slow is only like 10%. So it's not a whole lot. Like you feel like you can cover more of the map and be more aggressive with Fortify up, as opposed to, you know, being at risk of outmaneuvering against a lot of those sort of faster compositions. I think with the Junker Queen comp, like you could play, I guess, the similar shell, but like I think she wants to play more like those Malga comps did, that really wanted to get in, that really wanted to like use Baptiste, that wanted to use Venture, Immortality Field, stuff that lets you like play in a dangerous position for as long as possible to get the most out of Junker Queen's kit. Like she just has to expose herself to far too many variables here in this setup, and when you go down a DPS, like like it's very pick oriented, I think, in the start of those fights, which is maybe why we start to see the Widow come out. Especially on that attack side with that Junker Queen. You can run rush shot if your enemy doesn't quite have the healing to stay in the fight with you. That means they have to just disengage over and over again and give you that space.
Yeah, I mean, O3Splash definitely was trying to really be creative with that Junker Queen, but I do really agree with you guys saying that Orisa is definitely not only the meta but probably the safer pick, I guess, for tanks go. And also they really proved that they were the better team. Obviously, they got the win 3-0 right against O3. So great looks from Avidity.
Yeah. And I mean, Bun, she had an awesome Genji game. She had some insane moments. I liked we saw the Zen switch there. I think the idea with switching to Zen is to try and give yourself like a little bit more parity in like a poke setup, even if you're playing Junker Queen. All of a sudden, the Orisa can't quite just stand out in the open as much. But yeah, Bun, definitely what we're talking about here for Radix Avidity. Really clean.
She's also playing a lot on her own on the Genji, right? Like when you look on the other side and you're playing this a little bit more of aggressive style of play, you have players going in there, whether it be like a Venture or somebody with a Genji, where Bun, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of these highlights, right? Just solo assassinations, making solo plays. I mean, this 5K was nutty.
Yeah, I mean, and this is like unassisted, no blade. There's also no Ana. Like you often see Genjis have like these great moments when, they're getting nano boosted pretty frequently. But this is a situation where Bun has to play fairly like low econ and pick her spots like really effectively. Some like outplay moments there. There's a deflect here on the sleep. This is what sets up this kill. So Matt alludes to this sort of after the fact as the game is going. So yeah, very, very good. When you've got an individual like this on the Genji that can actually be so self-sufficient, God, it frees up so many resources for your front line.
Genji. I feel like we're going to see more of Genji from other teams as well. But didn't Falcons beat Crazy Raccoons with Genji as well proper? I think that's what they did in Asia.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. But I think I saw a little bit.
With a lot of things, yeah. But I think like right now, especially given the people call Juno mobile, and I sort of see why because of her jump cooldowns. But outside of those, she feels a little susceptible. And if you can work around Brig as much as you can, and if teams are trying to play Ana and stuff like that, it's like it's open season for you. It's really quite easy to get in and threaten backlines.
True. All right, well, we're gonna hear it from the winning team. We got a post-match interview with Wob from Avidity. Wob, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, congratulations on getting the win. How are you feeling?
Thank you. Feeling pretty good. It was pretty sloppy on our end, but got the job done.
I mean, some really clean hit scan play from you across the series there, Wub. You guys really stuck to that Orisa-based setup here. You're going up against the Junker Queen. Like, we see like you disengage, you give a lot of space on Lijiang Tower. What's your overall game plan against like the Queen Brawl style?
Well, we know their team just wants to play to kill me, so I just, play my game and play smart and just play my life, and we just let Bun carry.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys played great into that Queen setup. That's quite aggressive. You guys will end up playing Ramatra Punch in the Decider. You have any experience against that team? What are your thoughts on them?
Yeah, I mean, we played them in Swiss, I believe. We lost to them, but I don't think we were that strong of a team like we are now, as you can see today with the pretty clean 3-0. We still had a lot of mistakes that I think that we shouldn't have made, but overall, we're very proud of the team. And I think the Ramatra Punch match will also be another 3-0.
Okay. You ready for the Rhine? Just the non-stop
Are you ready for the ride?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the interview again. Big congratulations on getting the win, and I'm definitely excited to watch you guys and Ramatra Punch battling it out for the Decider match. Thank you so much.
Thank you.